I have, of course. Have you seen the movie?
The new one?
Yeah. No spoilers though. No spoilers.
No, I haven't seen it in its entirety, but from what I have seen, it looks like it's gonna be pretty special. I'm excited for everybody to check it out on March 5th on Amazon Prime.
Ooh, there it is, man. Coming to
Yeah.
America too. Hollywood's A, man. Welcome back to the Zoom Zone room. Of course,
Abi,
What up? How you
what's
doing?
going on, my boy? Last time I seen you. We was on this right here.
Right, right.
You remember that?
I do.
Hey,
Yes, I
it's a
do.
funny story. That's well, not a funny story, but I think it's an interesting story. Is you co-wrote "Savage" with Megan Thee Stallion, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know. Did you guys cover that already, or my?
no. We just getting
No, we
started.
haven't.
Okay. And I know when I spoke to Jay White about her putting that record together and all, he told me a story to the tone of it took literally 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes tops for y'all to put the entire record together. Is that true?
That is true.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Walk me
It
through
was.
it.
Yeah. I mean, it was a very quick process. Megan is a very talented artist, and she works really hard. And I learned a lot from being around her in the short amount of time I was. She can write a whole song like 15, 20 minutes, like no paper, no pencil or nothing. Like she just goes in the booth and comes up with a line and another line and another line. And so that was a great experience. And obviously, Jay White is like the Dr. Dre of like that
Right.
space of music, as far as the FemCs doing that thing. So it was a great experience, and the song ended up being wildly successful. And we hope I'm a King can duplicate the same amount of success.
Right. I love
Yeah.
I'm a King too. I think it sends out a message that aligns with your personality and your character of who you are, and it's still got that vibe where I can hear that joint popping in the club, you know what I mean?
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, when you make songs for movie soundtracks, it pushes you to make songs that we would say like cast a wide net. That can there's a wide audience of people that will see a movie like Coming to America. Obviously, we don't have the theaters open like we used to, but even it'll be a bunch of different families from a lot of different backgrounds all around the world that's gonna be at home watching it. So we wanted to make something that appealed to everybody without losing that artistic integrity. A lot of times when you try to make songs that can reach a lot of people, they end up being like corny or contrived, and you can hear that in it. So I was joking with somebody earlier, like, you're kind of taught like you're either gonna make something that can reach a lot of people, or you're gonna make something that's super niche, just like an or thing. I don't like or.
Right.
I like and. I think there's a way to do both of them, and I feel like we did that with I'm a King, and I hope people feel the same way when they hear it.
I think they will, bro. I definitely think it's a strong record. I mean, I also liked who's the other one?
One with
Who's the one you
Lecrae.
dropped right before I'm a King? I was just the one with
Oh
Lecrae.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
love
yeah.
that record. I love that
Appreciate
record.
that, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, that's another Texas connection. We want to keep them going for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely gave off that vibe of Dallas. The lyrics, everything
Yeah.
was just on point.
Yeah,
Still,
Made Away
yes.
was more, lunch table style. It had like that, made it out the street. It's like it's set up for people to like a crowd of people to do ad libs with you, at the
Right.
and kind of hype you up. And that's definitely that lunch table style. Produced
Definitely.
by Mr. Lee, the legend Mr. Lee,
Absolutely. One
and
time for the legend.
co-produced. Yeah, for sure. By Lone Star, who's also from Pleasant Grove. So yeah, that was a full Texas connection, and we want to keep that going for sure.
I want to just back up a little bit. He say, "Coming to America now is coming to me. I'm not regular.
Yeah.
I'm descending the kings,
Yeah,
bro. Like it's like popping a willy. You know what I'm saying? You just pop this willy, and you just rolled it like the whole
No,
time,
for real. For real.
appreciate that.
bro. Yeah. So like, the beat came first, or was it kind of like you just had that theme in your head?
Yeah, so basically, I was in LA at the time, and my manager told me that they had interest of me making something original for the film, and I think coming off of the Hate You Give back in the day, and this other sync work that I've done, it's like people know if you want to make something for a movie, you got to call Bobby Sessions. That's kind of like the reputation
Ooh, I
that we
like
have
that.
in that space. So they hit us up about making something for the film, and they gave me like some notes of kind of like the scene that it would be involved in, and somebody really stepping up to the plate to go from prince to king. So the engineer I was been working with, his name is AJ. AJ ruined my record. Is actually the name he goes by. And he also makes beats, and he like started really catching a stride, and like, you know, he can make any kind of style of beat. So I came to him like, yo, I need some royalty vibes. I need something that's gonna make somebody go from a prince to a king, or even if a woman hears it, they go from princess to a queen. It should just feel like they're leveling up. I go from worker to boss. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like some elevation of some sort. And he made like half the beat. He sent it to a frequent collaborator of his, another producer out of Atlanta named Blessed. And he, I guess he like emailed it to him. Dude added some stuff and sent it back. I heard it and I was like, yo, I'm like, this is perfect, because it's simple, but it has like those vibes. You can imagine, if somebody was being crowned in a palace, you can imagine that being in the background. You know what I'm saying? Like, exactly like a ceremony or a celebration or something like that. Yeah, so I heard it, and as soon as I had that line of "Coming to America, now it's coming to me," I'm like, oh, it's up. I'm like, yo, it's up. So I wrote that song pretty fast, and then we sent it off to them, Paramount and Amazon. It was before I got to Amazon, just Paramount and Eddie Murphy's team, and they was like, yo, we love it. And then I think after the Amazon bought the rights to the movie after that for like 125 million, it was some like wild boss king movies that they were making. Right. And I guess with that acquisition, they wanted to see, you know, what they could do to take the song up to another level. And next thing you know, I get a call like, yo, we sent it to Megan. I'm like, what? Like, I was like, what? I'm like, that sounds crazy. I would love to hear that. And then I got a text from her saying like, yo, I'm listening to it right now. I'm writing my verse, da da da. I'm like, oh, this gonna be wild. So I hear the I get the verse. I'm like, yo, you know, I haven't heard her in that space. You know, she talking about passing wealth to her granddaughter. And she really went crazy on it. And she flipped the "My I'm a king" to "I'm a queen." And she jumped it off looking at the board. I'm the most important piece because you can't win the game if you ain't got me. I'm like, yo. Yeah, she was talking crazy. So when we all heard it, it was like, yeah, you can't have a kingdom with just the king. You gotta have the queen as well. And she definitely took the record up quite a bit. And the reception has been great thus far. And I'm excited for people to see how it's incorporated in the film on March 5th, because it's special. It's like the song came out, people were shocked about that. Like, oh man, that's crazy. Then the Super Bowl ad came a couple of days later, which was big. But how it's used in the film is like it's very special, and I think it makes for a memorable scene.
Got you, bro.
Absolutely.
We chopped it up briefly prior, but like every place got they people they known for certain things. You know what I'm saying? You got Texas. You know what I'm saying? You got your Erykah Badu's, your Vanilla Ices. You know what I'm saying? Your Beezy's, your Mo's. You know what I'm saying? Your Little Ronnie's. But yours is a little different because, like you just said, man, people think movies, go get Bobby Sessions type of thing. Well, how does it feel to be an icon? It's so young in your career, bro. Like, and you're from Texas. You know what I'm saying? You're from PG. You know, so I shot that out in the club type thing, man. So how does it feel to really be there?
Man, that's dope. I mean, it's a big honor, and I think my goal and my role in it is, I feel like, especially back when I first started rapping in Dallas, it was always like segregated, kind of like you had like the street club side, and then you had the concert venue side, or the artsy fartsy kind of side. And the Deep Ellum, that circuit. And in that area, it was the consensus was you had to move to gain some traction, even though there really wasn't a bunch of examples of that working either. Like, you gotta be from that, you gotta go to LA, and you gotta go to New York and Atlanta. And our goal out the gate was to establish that you don't have to do that in order to to get to a certain level of success, there's a lot of resources here that just untapped to. I kind of describe it like Dallas has diamonds everywhere, but if you don't know that they're diamonds, it's not real in your mind yet. And I felt like that was the case for a while in regards to the people that like to describe themselves as lyricists and all that. I wanted to kind of pioneer that in a sense of somebody coming up through here and seeing certain things are possible in regards to tours, in regards to making songs for movies, in regards to being on a major label, in regards to songwriting and, you know, writing #1 records. Like there's a whole bunch of things that you can do. It doesn't all have to be, we're creating the blueprint for people to see, for people to have something to follow and to know that it's possible. That's all we want to do, make people know that it's possible. And I think we've had a good head start in doing that and want to keep that going. Like the stuff that we got planned for the rest of the year is so crazy. Like we still in like the layup line version. Like we still, like for real, we still like warming up. This is it's warm, but we still just warming up right now.
Can we get a sneak peek? Like what do we got coming up in the near future?
Yeah, so obviously we got the Coming to America, that's March 5th. The next weekend we want to, you know, manifest securing that Grammy victory on the March 14th. After that, I have some more new music coming from my debut album. All the stuff we did before, the Revolution stuff, that was its own series, you know, about the social justice and targeting different issues and stuff like that. What I have coming out next, this album, Manifest, is more about what I was on pre-Def Jam, which was the manifestation, which was the law of attraction, which was people manifesting their dreams. And you'll get a taste of that late March. And then after that, at the end of March, I have a comic book. I got an opportunity to contribute a short story. Huh? Yeah, I got an opportunity to contribute a short story to Black Panther for Marvel. So I was
like, yeah, would you do something for Black Panther? Yeah.
So it's like Ta-Nehisi Coates. He's he's a legendary author and writer. So he's been taking on the Black Panther comic book series for Marvel since 2016, and he had 25 issues total, and there's been 22 issues that's been released thus far. So issue 23 comes out this month, issue 24 comes out next month, and issue 25 comes out in April. And I have issue 24, and it's a short story about Black Panther himself for Marvel. So that's crazy just because, you know, I've been picking up steam. It's just like a writer in general, but now it's like the writing has expanded to other mediums other than music. Now it's like comic books, and I want to keep expanding different mediums to communicate this messaging around manifestation. And that's just March. So it's like we got other stuff happening after that, but that's what's coming up in the immediate future.
All right. Hey, and you know, go ahead, Skills.
So you got.
I was going to ask you, right? It's kind of a two-part question almost, right? Now, we had reparations, the record back in, was that September?
I believe so. Yeah, September
more or
last
less,
year.
right? And I know with the discussion of the HR 40 bill, the George Floyd bill, we're going to get a little political real quick. What would you like to see in that reparations bill?
Great question. I actually haven't been asked that yet. That's a great question. So with reparations and what I was getting at in that song, it's just like this country and the political systems that are in place, they still, in my opinion, haven't even apologized for the crimes committed against people. So I think it's going to take an extremely long time for something to go through where they're actually passing out people money or granting a significant amount of loans and things of that nature. So what I think should happen is and I don't even think this should be limited to people that own businesses, but I think what I would like to see is Black people get to pay no taxes for the next 7 to 10 years. Like I would like to see something like that. So that's an area where because I look at it like, think how long it takes for them to send $1,200 to people that need it based on something that they
and we done ran
mismanaged.
through that in the first week.
Yeah, people ran through that.
Like, that's not
quick.
even most people rent. You know, like that's most people living right at the poverty line right now too. So
right, and it's like, oh, you know, we're gonna send 600, we're gonna send 1,400. So if they are struggling to send, I'm gonna just be blunt. If they're struggling to send that to white people, then think how long it's gonna take.
Say it.
For them to send something significant to people that look like me. So I'm like, so why don't, instead of y'all coming out of money, we should be able to at the very least not pay no taxes. Like, I think, and that gives us opportunity. Like, the stuff that we make, the money that we earn, we just keep that and not have that go to y'all for y'all to build up a park in places that are already nice already, and while you leaving the other stuff still messed up. Like, that's personally something I would like to see. Just let's be tax free for this next, for 7 to 10 years. I think that would do us great, and I think that's something that's feasible. Ideally, I think y'all should get, I don't even know the number y'all should give, or the free college tuition. It's a laundry list of the goddamn medieval scroll.
But if you could narrow it down to just 3 things, what would it be? Like, you just have to, out of all those, because I know it's a long list. I know that much.
Narrow it down to 3 things: tax free for, I'm gonna just say, a decade. Free tuition, and the third thing, I would just like to see more business, and just them being more willing to give out loans to the Black businesses that have some kind of proof of concept with their business. Because obviously you're gonna have people that's like, hey, I have a business, and they don't really have a business for real. They're just trying to get some bread. Like, businesses that have either been thriving or not, that have been started and operating already, but they just need a little extra funding to get the business off the ground, or for aspiring entrepreneurs. I would just like to see grant more access to funding for Black businesses, or them funding more Black banks, so those Black banks can give out loans to the community, tax free, 7 to 10 years, and free tuition for all the kids that I guess from 2020 graduating class on out.
All right, I ain't mad at that. I like that.
I mean, I think that's that's feasible. Y'all should do way more, but my expectations
that's a good start.
Are very low. Yeah, good start. It's not gonna solve, the wealth inequality, but it's something that's feasible, that I think can get done with the right amount of push.
Right. Oh, you know what? I got one more thing too. That's my last one.
Okay.
Were you in Texas for the blackout? For the rolling blackouts? Were you here for that?
I was.
What was that? Can you speak on that real quick? What your experience was?
Yeah. So where I was at, my power went out like days before everybody else's. So when things start turning up, I guess like on a Monday, my power went out like the Thursday or Friday before, and it was only for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. During that whole last week, we fortunately had power the whole time, water. We didn't have to boil water and all that. I have family members though. It's like they would get like an hour of power every 8 or 10 hours for 3 days straight.
That's what was happening to
me. Like, I had I got family in Fort Worth where they lost power and water, and they had to boil water and all that kind of stuff. Like, it was wild. My immediate household was we were fortunate enough to have power and water, but everybody very close to us was not experiencing the same fortune.
Thank you, Bob. We appreciate your time, man.
Yeah.
I got one us.
Yeah, what about you?
I mean, I got one last good one, man. I know.
No, he was saying, what about you? What was your life situation like?
Oh yeah, I mean, I was out of there Monday through Wednesday, and it was cold. But fortunately, my mom moved down from St. Louis to Plano. It was good to go, so I was able to get her there. But I still had to work here at the station. So back and forth, you know what I'm saying, thugging it out and going to check on them. So I won't do that again, bro, because that was below 33 indoors in the house.
Yeah, man.
It was domestic terrorism.
Yeah, that was crazy, man. That was a wild. Yeah, that's wild, man.
Yes, sir. Now I asked you, what was in that starter kit to kind of get you kind of on the radar for high standards kind of before Def Jam. You said the why. That was pretty dope as hell. Now this question is if you could look into this camera lens, and I'm pretty sure you've observed the rappers and the artists trying to come out of the DF Dub now. You know what I'm saying? Sure. What kind of advice being on the inside, like you in, but just being on the regular end, what can you advise them to do?
It's something my manager Jada, he actually told me this in 2015, and the deeper I get into my career, the more it resonates, and that's throw the clocks out the window. So what that means is it's good to have time frames that you want to accomplish something in a certain time frame. The problem with that is not for everybody, not in all cases, but in most cases for up and coming artists is, let's say you're 21 and you're like, okay, I want to have $1 million and be wildly successful at 23. And then you get to 23 and it doesn't look like that is going to come true. You get very discouraged.
Right.
Because not necessarily because it didn't happen, but because it didn't happen in that time frame. Where if you would have, because by the time you actually get those things, if you're 21 and you set that goal, that just take the time off, take the age off, and just I want to be successful. Let's say it happens at 36. When you get to 36 and it happens, you're not gonna be feeling like, oh man, this happened too late. It's gonna feel right on time.
Right.
Like, everything that I'm doing now is stuff that I thought I would be doing at 19.
Right.
And those things didn't happen. And that caused me to have suffer like a certain type of depression and anxiety, because I'm like, oh, I'm dope. So yeah, this is supposed to happen instantly. I'm supposed to get $1 million and people supposed to hear my music everywhere. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know that that's how that worked. Like, you have to, making it in this business, it's less about your talent, in my opinion, and more about your overall belief and your ability to still be productive after you encounter obstacles that are inevitable. Like, you can't get around it. You can't get around it. Like, there's no escaping it. And the people that do get around those obstacles, their fall is just a lot more scary because they didn't know life could humble them yet. So they end up getting something too quickly. And what you realize after you get something you've been chasing a long time is you get to the next stage of the game of managing it or sustaining it. That part of the game is harder than just getting it. You thought like, oh, I got it, so I'm a coast from here. It's like, no, that was this stage of the game. Then you get to this stage of the game and it's like, okay, how can I have longevity in it? And you think, and it's another thing too, really appreciate where you're at. Where you're at is not downtime, it's prep time. You're prepping for where you want to go. It's not you being down and you down bad and, oh man, I wish this would happen, and you think if certain things took place, then you're gonna be happy. It's like, not necessarily. If you can't be happy with what you got, you're not gonna be happy with something else. Because you're just gonna keep thinking about the next thing instead of appreciating where you're at. I thought, oh man, if I have plaques to hang up on my wall, that'll make me feel enough. If I get nominated for Grammys, that'll feel. If I do a #1, that'll be enough. If I work with these big artists, that'll be enough. And then I did all of those things, and I didn't feel much different than before all of it happened.
Right.
Because if I do that, like when you get one, people think, oh, if I get a plaque, oh, I'm gonna feel so accomplished. When you get one, you're just gonna be looking at people that got 10 of them. So you still ain't gonna feel. Then you get 10 of them, and you get around Diddy, who got 10,000 of them, and you're like, damn, like I ain't did nothing. Like that part never ends. So really appreciate where you're at, because it molds and shapes your character to deal with the levels of the game where the difficulty raises up to another level. Enjoy the moments of you trying to make music and you put it out and you got 50 plays and you're like, what? Because if you're able to get something that makes sense and that pops off, you're gonna be wishing you can come back to that space you were in before. It's like when you're in it, that's the feeling you're trying to run away from, and then once you get to a certain level, you're trying to chase the feeling you had when you didn't have it.
Chris is dropping jewels, boy. You killed that one.
Appreciate that, man.
Facts.
Yeah, for
That's
real.
a fact. Yeah, for real. For real.
Hey, so we definitely appreciate you, dog. We wish you, continued success and
thank you.
Continue delivering that message, because I think it's very important, especially like this last one, the Kings and Queens. With so many other messages that we ingest on a daily. Not saying they good or they bad, but you know what? Just like anything else in life, we need balance, right?
Right.
So we appreciate that you give us that balance and that you give us that vibrance and that truth, bro. For real, like we supporting you, bro, all the way 100. These Skills, the entire family here at 97.9 The Beat, right, Skills?
Yes, sir, man. You gonna go, bro? We got you all the way.
Hey, man, appreciate y'all having me again, and excited to keep touching base and allow the manifestations to continue to happen and to compound.
Hey, our house is your house, bro. Whenever you feel like popping through, we're here for you, bro, for real.
Appreciate it. With the snow easing up, it looked like that opportunity will present itself.
Yeah, maybe sooner than later, right?
Yeah, for sure.
100, yes, my boy. Appreciate you popping through.
Keep Absolutely, going, man. Y'all be safe. Y'all do the same.
Yes, sir.
There it is, man. Tell them 808.